Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
This is Mira Business FM with me, Tim Elliott. It's the morning drive. Welcome to the show. Don't forget you can contact us very easily, info@mira.fm, and you can also find us at WhatsApp, which is whatsapp.mira.fm. If you would like the number, 522-789-567. Plug that into your phone to talk to us directly in the studio if you would like to. Now, I'm very pleased to be joined in the studio by a newcomer to the show. Siddesh Mayenkar is a freelance financial journalist. He's written for lots and lots of different people here in the UAE, familiar to many, of course. But Siddesh, it's a real pleasure to see you. Nice to have you here.
No, thank you for inviting me.
I'm enjoying the blue suit. It looks great on camera as well. I should tell you that. That's an important point to make. Look, lots to talk about today. And what I want to do is to maybe start with Abu Dhabi Finance Week, which is kind of, for most of us here, that's really the big financial news of the week, isn't it? So let's start there. Where do we start? I guess let's look at some of the announcements coming out, some of the upshot from ADFW. What are your thoughts?
I was there on the first day, and it was quite a delight to watch. All the top executives from, say, Blackstone, from Amundi, from Bank Julius Baer, from Bill Gates, my childhood hero. And obviously Mubadala and other government officials, and it was buzzing with activity on the first day and the day out and the following days, and something to really take away from this was they had a plethora of discussions about inclusive growth, about women in finance, etc. But really, the top story would be how Abu Dhabi is trying to consolidate its position in the financial market, especially as far as FIDA cluster is concerned. They want to attract more financial companies, more insurance companies, more crypto companies, more of these companies, and really consolidating its position to boost its non-oil growth, because they are on the path to boost its non-oil growth, expected to be like $15 billion by 2045. So they are in the part of diversification. I think ADFW, really serves its purpose, in trying to diversify the sector.
It's interesting that you say that, because it really feels like, and as an outsider, looking in at the conference, I haven't been there this year. This is the fourth year, but it seems like a marker to me of Abu Dhabi positioning itself as a global kind of, a financial kind of hub. That's in my mind the image of this year.
Absolutely, you're 100% right. And parallelly, another announcement that really caught my attention was Mubadala. Mubadala really coming out and signing an MOU with Aldar and investing 16 billion dirhams to create this new city. To consolidate, Abu Dhabi's position to be the capital of the capital. So it's two-track. It's diversification plus also urban living. They have their eyes and sights on everything to invite more people, as well as to create an ecosystem, a robust ecosystem where people can live, where communities can live and thrive and prosper. So they have their boots on the ground. They have their strategy in place, and what we are seeing is like piecemeal approach. One by one, we are being introduced to it, so that we don't get bombarded with too much of information.
There's been a few heavy hitters. You mentioned Bill Gates there. He was here. I think he was on a panel.
Yeah.
And then there was the pledging moment. So world leaders here, donors here, committing new funding to the global polio eradication initiative. He was there talking. I thought this was quite an interesting talk. I saw a little bit of this on social media, talking at length about his partnership with the UAE. It's quite a long-standing partnership. He's been here a number of times.
Yeah.
His efforts to eradicate malaria and polio, and his vision for the future. So that's interesting. We had the former UK Prime Minister here. He faced a few questions about brain drain from the UK. So it's a really wide-ranging discussion at Finance Week, I think. But in terms of digital initiatives, in terms of fintech, Did anything stand out for you in that field, in that realm?
Yeah, according to newspaper reports, they're introducing something. Obviously, it was announced earlier, but it's inevitable that they come out with this digital dirham
Yes.
for people to really. That's the electronic version of your paper money, to have widespread acceptability among residents and among expats in this part of the world. So that will enable like instant settlement and widespread availability of this e-money. So yeah, so that's making a buzz. And also, I was obviously, when I told you earlier about the FIDA cluster, so they want to really attract these companies on ground, and already we have been seeing this on ADGM, private equity firms, hedge funds really making a beeline, and the world's best names are in town. So yeah, more power to Abu Dhabi.
It's day 4 today, isn't it? The last day today. I'm interested, just really in your thoughts, Siddesh. To be honest with you, how about the theme this year? The 4th edition of Abu Dhabi Finance Week is centered around engineering the capital network. I'm sure you've seen all the social media advertising, all the promotion for it. Exploring the purposeful design of new financial systems built to harness innovation, AI, and a rebalancing of global capital flows. So it's very obvious there immediately that these are bold plans, aren't they? They're kind of grand plans. So that theme to me kind of reflects growing influence of the UAE and the GCC, to be fair, kind of as a gravitational center for capital forward-looking investment strategies. So blockchain technology, potentially a change of course for capital flows in the direction of the GCC as well, I suppose, even more. What do you take from that engineering the capital network?
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and there wouldn't have been a better headline this week to really propagate ADFW, because Paramount Skydance announced they are in a potential transaction with Warner Brothers. Obviously, they have this counter offer from Netflix.
Yeah.
And Paramount has said that they have backing of the PIF of a Saudi-based firm, plus Qatar Investment Authority backing the deal, and that might be worth like $100 billion. So they're talking about big money, flowing out from here.
That interests me actually as an idea, but it's just this. There are a number of sides to that. You would imagine, I guess, with President Trump's proclamation the other day that he wants to have a look at this deal, the Netflix offer I'm talking about here, but he is certainly feels favorably towards this part of the world, the GCC. There's no doubt about that. But in terms, I guess, of soft power, that it makes a very important point. It's a real foothold in one of the world's most attractive industries. It's a real way to influence and what's the right word to put this politely? But it's a real way to make a point, I think, isn't it?
Exactly, and they're making a big point in the global financial markets. Something that we saw in September, not long ago, when PIF really backed the EA deal that was worth about $50 billion. So more money coming from this part of the world, going from this part of the world to all these big, huge, mega deals. So that's the headline.
It's always interesting how all these things kind of come together. You hear things and you realize these are not disparate strands. This is a joined up strategy, the way these things work. Final thoughts, I guess, on Abu Dhabi Finance Week? Anything there anything that surprised you this week? If you were there on day one, obviously the first day is the splash, the heavy hitters are there. What stood out to you?
Well, it has got so much of attention that, typically what happens in conferences is that, and I've attended many conferences, maybe hundreds of them in the past 10 years, that, the energy levels try to deteriorate maybe on the second, third day maybe.
Yeah.
But this has not happened in case of ADFW. That is, even yesterday was a jam-packed show. I don't know about today because I'm not there, obviously, but I'll find out from my folks who are there. But there has been no let up in terms of interest and people flowing into Abu Dhabi Finance Week. So that just underlines and underscores the point that how serious Abu Dhabi is uh, in really taking this forward, taking the whole global capital flows, taking the whole story about FIDA, etc., forward, and really consolidate its position as the financial powerhouse.
No, I think that's what really stands out, doesn't it? Look, we've got lots to talk to you about this morning. We'll look at some of the financial headlines. I'm just looking through my notes here. There is so much to say. The interest rate decision at the Federal Reserve last night, of course, ripples already being felt across bond yields, equities, emerging market capital flows. What's been happening in Abu Dhabi as well. We've got a couple of minutes before we'll just take a break, but let's just look at. Let me ask you generally about markets. What are markets watching today, taking into account the decision of the Federal Reserve last night?
Yeah, they're trying to digest the Fed decision and the aftermath. This has been the rate cut for third consecutive time. And then how they have been trying to take job growth at loggerheads compared to inflation, because inflation is not a priority for them now. It's more about job growth, and that's the biggest takeaway we have had from Trump's Trump's presidency. That how do we boost local growth? How do we boost local jobs?
Yeah.
So they are playing into that particular headline, and really that will be one of the important things that market would watch out for is the trajectory that Federal Reserve might take next year.
Siddesh, thank you for sticking around. A few kind of more general questions for you this morning. We've discussed some of Abu Dhabi Finance Week, touched on the whatever's going to happen with Warner Brothers. We don't know. Lots of things still to talk about there. But, the backdrop at the moment is the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates, I suppose. Markets obviously watching that. But what else are markets watching today, do you think?
So markets are watching the Fed very closely, and the tone they might use in terms of what's coming next, as far as the rate cycle is concerned. So we have seen the bond prices rising to the highs of 2009 because on the back of this cut in 25 basis point cut in interest rates. So that is something that what market is watching out for. Gold prices hovering at about $4,200 per ounce. So on the back of this, gold prices are high. Obviously, bond yields are high. And then obviously equity markets, for example, Dow Jones Index, it has risen only 10%, 8 to 10%, in the past 1 year. Compared to such a bull run in gold prices, that has been the outperformer. Obviously, I'm not talking about. This is not in comparison with cryptos or with bitcoins, obviously, but this is mainstream financial assets.
I mean, gold is the story of the year, isn't it?
Gold, absolutely. And your previous guest alluded to it, Jeff Rhodes. He has been a veteran in the gold market. There was one crazy prediction that someone said gold will touch like $10,000 per ounce in 2026. I think he's trying to just hawk some limelight.
I think that's a headline grabber for sure. But I mean, Jeff himself would say, with some knowledge and experience in the sector, he expects $6,500 in the next 12 months for gold. And we are now currently, 4,200?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Given the kind of volatility we have seen in gold prices. When I was a gold correspondent for Thomson Reuters, and that's when I got in touch with Jeff Rhodes back in the day. So gold was hovering about $1,700 per ounce, but it never occurred to me that I should buy some physical gold and keep it as an investment.
It's occurring to us all now, though, isn't it? For sure. The other story there, I mean, he's obviously a proponent of gold. That's his primary kind of position, I suppose. But he's also a big fan of silver. And if you look at the increase in the silver price this year, something like 60% year to date. The record for silver at the moment is around about $62. He's predicting 125 in the next 12 months.
Yeah, silver has been the more, what do I put it, the more nasty cousin compared to gold.
For many, yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, so very volatile in terms of its prime price movement, and if it goes into hibernation, maybe into a phase of consolidation, it would go on for years. And then we'll have a sudden spurt in silver prices. So I think that's exactly what we saw when prices went to as high as $40 per ounce, and now I won't be surprised for another addition of $50-$60.
Okay, let's have a quick look ahead then, since we're moving in that direction anyway at 2026. That's what we kind of do this time of year, of course. But what risks do you think investors should be watching for as we head into a new year?
The interest rate cycle.
Right.
Yeah, and what might the new Fed chairman, come in 2026, and what he might do to appease his boss, President Trump. So that's something to watch out for. That might create a mayhem in the market because at the end of the day, we don't want data points to suggest something else, and and the Fed doing something else altogether. There should be a convergence in data points as well as the interest rate cycle, and broader sanity in the markets.
Okay. What about where people should be putting their money this year? Where do you think the bigger investors are going to be putting their cash in 2026?
I hope so. Someone would have told me gold in 2025. I would have been the most happiest person.
Jeff's been doing that. There's room to maneuver.
He's a perennial gold bull.
For sure.
Yeah, and it took so much of time, maybe for a gold investor to make money. Yeah. He had to maybe hedge his bets. Maybe he had to be very, very, very disciplined in the market to get this spot in 2025. So there's no easy money to be made in markets. You just had to be a disciplined investor and see the day as and go through a day as it is. So yeah, I'm tempted to say Bitcoin, but I don't want to lose. I don't want people to lose money as far as Bitcoin is concerned, because that's been more volatile than anything else, and the sharp gyration. I tell people that you can invest in Bitcoin only if you have money to lose, and I don't know how much of money you can lose from your own savings.
That's just sound market advice. However you dice that up, that seems sensible to me. Last question for you. I know you have to go to a meeting. What's going to define the financial landscape, do you think, next year?
President Trump and his...
It's a strong answer.
And what he might do to the policy, the tariff policy. We have seen this, one step ahead, two step backward kind of situation in 2020, 2025. I was in the US for a couple of years, and I went to see the inauguration in January last year.
Okay.
It's been a year now, and the kind of edginess is there on the street, and so it is in the financial markets. So it's interesting. It will be interesting to watch out for what President Trump might do for tariff, what he might do for Fed. So I think just watch President Trump and his moves.
It's so interesting, this, because there are two schools of thought on this. There's the school of thought that President Trump makes decisions on a whim, and I think there's some evidence for that. There's also the school of thought that people believe that he makes decisions and keeps people guessing. I don't know which it is. I'm not really qualified to comment on that, but that seems to be where we are. But what the overall kind of umbrella for that is that it's very uncertain. That's the way I view.
Yeah, exactly. It's very
Situation.
uncertain. Presidents cannot make decision on whim. It has to be more nuanced, and it has to be more data-driven. It has to be more, more statesmanship. For
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what happens. Hopefully you'll come back and join us, Siddesh, and we can talk a little bit further. Siddesh Mayenkar is a acclaimed financial journalist joining us at Mira Business FM this morning. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. This is Mira Business FM.